Today I'm walking from Needham Lake in Needham Market in Suffolk back to Stowmarket. A bit like what's his name in the Odyssey? Nothing like that really. I am going home. That's what he was doing, I believe. Quite often on a walk, as in life, we may face many obstacles. But hopefully today we won't be encountering as many obstacles as Matt Damon did in the Odyssey. I'm glad to say after the recent heat wave, things have cooled down a bit. Whoa, the River Gipping has gone green. Good to say after the recent heat wave, temperatures are down a bit today. Effluent sampling point. How interesting, although today is not about sampling effluent. One of the reasons I wanted to do this walk is one of my early videos was this walk in the opposite direction from Stowmarket to Needham, and someone made a comment on that video asking, can you actually get all the way to Needham Lake on the Gipping River footpath? The answer is yes, and the reason it didn't appear so in that old video was something that I didn't tell you at the time. You know, all these YouTubers like to overshare everything about their life. I like to share a little bit, but what happened on that day, which must be 6-7 years ago now, just as we were approaching the other end of Needham Market, I suddenly and unexpectedly got a massive stabbing pain in my hip, so that where the leg joins your torso sort of thing, right in the hip joint. It was horrible. It felt like someone sticking a hot knife into my leg. Absolutely agonising. So unfortunately I couldn't, I just couldn't carry on. I wasn't sure how we were going to even get off the riverbank. So I sat down for a bit. I was fortunately with Hazel, my wife, and she decided to go to the chemist, to the pharmacy, and get some painkillers from the town centre. And I slowly made my way up the hill to meet her there, and fortunately we decided to get the train back on that day, but that was extremely painful and the beginning of about a year of hip and knee problems. So I got referred to the physio, and she explained that, you know, your joints get worn with age, and just watching where I'm going, because this is all on a wing and a prayer. I think we just carry on down here. Yeah, she explained that joints get worn with age, so you can't really undo that, but what you can do is build up the muscle around knees and hips and stuff so that they carry more of the weight. So I was a good boy and did my physio exercises and took it steady for a little bit, but they said keep moving, don't become a couch potato, because that'll make it worse. A bit like the local post office, use it or lose it. One of the great things about Suffolk is you sometimes spot these ancient houses across a field. I always wonder about who lived there and who lives there now. but who lived there in the old days. Basically, as far as I can remember, I just follow the footpath to the side of the river. Yeah, there's a couple of footbridges to the other side if you need to get off, but not many. But for our purposes, I think we'll just stay on this side of the river. And a little leafy grotto here. Oh, it's glorious. Glorious, glorious. This is probably the perfect sort of day to do this walk. It's not too hot. I don't think there's any rain expected. Would that there were. Ground so dry. So should be clear run. There's the first bridge off if you want to escape, but we're gonna carry on the footpath. Yes, I've just slightly veered left there. I think this is we're just coming up to where I escaped when my hip went 6-7 years ago. Just hobbled to this bridge here and escaped into town to take some painkillers. But I certainly don't need to do that this early on. Going in the reverse direction. Hopefully won't need to do it at all. So we're going to go under the bridge. Oops, sorry. There is a bit of history with this river here. This flows out, I think, to the Orwell, and was in ancient days the River Orr. And it meets the Rattleston River, which was the ancient Orr or Orwell back in the day, back in the olden caveman days. But you'll see bits of, just show you here, bits of stuff like this, remnants of old locks. Because what happened was, pre-railways, before everything was moved on the rails, when that came into existence, canals were the thing. And if you didn't have a canal but you had a river, people would use that. It's hard to imagine at the moment any boats coming up here, but this was a busy waterway, busy navigation, and this went all the way into Stowmarket, terminating, as we shall see, at the Pickerel pub. And that was a very busy area, and there used to be a lot more pubs around that end of town, catering for the men and women that came in on the barges. See, there are obstacles, just like Homer's Odyssey. Underwater obstacles in that case. Yeah, so this would be Goodwood come up and down here. So this was not only widened, but those remnants of old locks was effectively turned into a canal, so they could get it up, get goods up into Stowmarket. Those days are long gone, and so the remnants of the locks are just that, just remnants, bits of brick and concrete here and there. It is quite a lot cooler today, but to be honest, I'm probably glad of that. No, I am glad of that, because I'm going to get hot on the walk. Path split in two again, but this is just the one that's to the edge of the river. There's something about it's being surrounded by these old trees. These are possibly not ancient, like an ancient oak, but they're pretty old and could well be older than me. But there's something reassuring. It's almost like expecting Treebeard from Lord of the Rings.
I am no tree. I am an ant.
This old tree here. Well, there's definitely rain in the air now. A few spits here and there. And I've been doing my little Mancunian rain dance for the last 2 months. So I can't complain that it chooses now to rain. I have got a sort of little thin waterproof in the bag. Don't know if we'll need that. But we're sort of prepared. Just didn't put the waterproof trousers on this morning. Not waterproof trousers, but the like proper hiking trousers, quick drying. So if my trousers get wet, that's going to be quite unpleasant. Oh, that looks like a new bit of boardwalk since the last time I was here. Someone's been busy, someone's paid for a bit of work here, thank you very much. Look at that. It'd be great in a way if it was all this good, because I've never travelled in a wheelchair or mobility scooter, but I can imagine some of the bits we've done before this either might not be passable or they'd be very difficult to pass on wheels. If you know who's done this, is it the Gipping River Trust, the Pickerel Project, Stowmarket Council, Needham Council? If you know, if there's put that bit of track in, do leave a comment in the comment section below, because they deserve a bit of credit. Another new bridge. It's being looked after, this river walk. Sometimes gets a bit overgrown, but somebody's looking after it. Tell you what, the technology's everywhere. Cattle in the fields, and as this sign tells me, they're kept in their place by virtual fences by a company called No Fence. I have no idea how that works. I might look up their website. I have to say, I know cows are just generally curious, but on the other hand, quite a few people get killed in the countryside in this country by, I think it's mostly when you run away or your dog disturbs the cattle. But yeah, I prefer a physical fence myself, but who knows? I don't know whether they've got do cows have chips in? They probably do these days, don't they? A virtual fence by no fence. What a time to be alive. Here comes another new bridge, I have to say. I'm impressed. I'd heard last year that quite a bit of this footpath was blocked, overgrown. There goes the Norwich Express. Yes, if you do hear that rumble in this video, we are walking alongside not only the River Gipping but also the main London-Liverpool Street to Norwich commuter line. Down the dip. And this is a bridge that looks like it possibly needs some attention, but didn't collapse under my weight, which I always see as a bonus. Just coming back to the Odyssey movie. Another train. There it goes. Yes, coming back to the Odyssey movie, I did think of sort of making a sort of parody. Excuse me. But yeah, I haven't seen the film. I know roughly the story. I thought we could maybe have some special effects of the obstacles on this walk from Needham to Stowmarket. You know, something like this. Or maybe not. I thought it'd be a little bit naff. Don't know what. More cattle behind the no fence virtual fence. How does it work? I'm gonna have to look it out when I get home. Might just be a option for a field, but I don't see any bovines at the moment. Up the steps. Across the bridge. The beautiful, inspiring sight of Gateway 14 distribution centre on the horizon. Yes, you've got Gateway 14 distribution centre there, and this load of pipes and stuff here is Munton and Fison's, I think it's called. Get your Fison's fertiliser and all that. But also, I think they still do malt. Yeah, because this town of Stowmarket was known for malt. There was maltsters, buildings all over town, and all close to the river, because that's how the malt came in and out, down to Ipswich docks and so forth. And someone said that every Malteser starts its life in Stowmarket. Don't know if that's still true, but it was at one point. Obviously Maltesers have got malt in. Or have they? Given the way they just replace everything with palm oil these days. Who knows? Now going under the railway of the London to Norwich line as we approach Stowmarket, becoming a bit more industrial in nature now. All right. So we've just crossed the driveway to Munton and Fison's there. Glad they got new steps. I think last time it was a bit precarious there, but it was 6-7 years ago. So we're not far off, and I can report that so far, I don't want to jinx anything, so far, and given that we're nearly there, no hip pain, no knee pain. I mean, there shouldn't be, because I've walked a lot further than 5 miles several times since it happened without issue. What I've also learned is I get a little tingling in the hip. It's like the amber warning light that's going to happen, the stabbing pain is going to happen. So whenever I get a tingle, I just stop for 5 minutes and then we're able to carry on as normal. And the other thing that's interesting, I'm fairly sure to watch the video, but when I walked this 6-7 years ago, whenever it was, I'm fairly sure this fence wasn't here. Because I remember thinking how we sort of were walking across the front lawn of Munton and Fison's. You've got the big silos there. I remember thinking it was a bit odd that it was all open, but they've got this green wire fencing that, I don't know if someone got a job lot on the council or locally, but all the museums fenced in this, and a lot of the town property fenced in this. I'm guessing just decade ago, 7 years ago, security was less serious in some places. There's some PPG paintworks further along the river, 2 big employers, along with Bosch, but I don't think Bosch is there anymore. And I have no idea what is going on there. As you can see, it's malt ingredients with the world's most sustainable malt ingredients. Yeah, it's a bit of a pond along this section from the industrial area. Is it malt? Is it chemicals? Treatment? I don't know. Oh yes, strong pong there. Just going under the, whatever this is. I think this is the A1120. So sort of, even though there's quite a bit of nature still around, we're now under a concrete monstrosity. But I suppose if you're trying to get about into the A14, yeah, I think we're all glad of that. Speeds us up there. Footpath here is a bit precarious. Sort of at 45 degrees going down to the water. So I'd rather not slide down. So where are we? Should be. Ooh, it's narrow here. Narrow here. Thank God it's been trimmed back. Yeah, sort of getting more industrial. This is just an entrance for hobbits. Yes, should be coming into the realms of I know, a bit soon for the paintworks. There, is it molybdenum, whatever material that is, they make that appear somewhere. So it's not quite the Stowmarket Millennial Bridge, but it's sort of, I think they based the Millennial Bridge on the design. I have to say, because it's been about 7 years since I was last down here, I'm not familiar with this bit of the footpath. When we get in towards the paintworks, I think I'll recognise it. A little bit of the River Gipping without the green weeds on. Is that effluent coming out of the factory? I'm not sure. Oh, there's the train. Oh. Must have to bungee jump off here. There ain't no step there. Yes, we're on the other side of the railway now. Oh, see it, say it, sort it. Pollution watch, spot it, report it, stop it. Yeah, I think all these outflows into rivers now, they need to be fully monitored 24/7. People sneaking poisoning. I'm not accusing this company, but the water companies just releasing poop, unprocessed poop into the river. Do they not realise that fish swim in the river, and sometimes people, that we need the river to be alive, not full of poop? BPG Industries. It says private property, but the zebra crossing isn't. Gates either side. That's a private property. But you have a right of way on the footpath. So when I moved here, about 30 odd years ago, I think it was, 1989, yeah, this was the ICI paintworks. Now the PPG, but it was the site back in is it 1871, put it on the screen, but it was the site, or just up here was the site of the Stowmarket gun cotton explosion that devastated the site. I have a sort of documentary / drama on the channel on the Stowmarket gun cotton, and we had Emily playing 12-year-old Mary Mount, who was one of the victims of the gun cotton explosion. But it was heard 40 odd miles away, the explosion. 2 explosions really. But it used to be a factory that made dynamite and explosives. Yeah. So I think 28 people died who were close to the explosion. A lot of people made deaf. Windows blew out of all the houses in the town. The reason the 2 local churches don't have much in the way of stained glass is because they're all blown out when this blew up. Just the force of it. And so if you've not seen it, do go and watch the gun cotton explosion. This would have been another lock back in the day. Obviously adapted now to the industry. I like the little paint pot seats. Very clever. And just up here on our right is the memorial to the gun cotton explosion and the history of the site, basically, although we're coming at it from the wrong end. But we will find young Mary Mount. Her name is there, so these are the names of all the people that died. You can see a lot of children died who worked at the factory. Alfred Noble, who acquired the works in 1907. Yeah, Stowmarket gun cotton factory, that's what blew up. And the site, the location is pretty much here where I'm standing, just inside the industrial complex, but at this point on the river. We come into another little bit that you might, some people get intimidated about. This is a public footpath crossing private property of industry, but you can go that way, and to the left is also a right-of-way footpath, but it's clearly marked where you can go and where you can't go. And again, this next bit is sort of crossing the drive, so you're between two sort of barriers. And back onto the riverside footpath. So although I do have a little bit of packed lunch, packed food, not dipped into yet, just looking at the time, I think this is wonderful. It's the universe. I think I've timed this just right so that I will get down near the Pickerel pub, which is round the corner from the Chippy. I think I've timed this just right that we can order the fish and chips and get Mrs. E to come and pick me up from the chip shop, and then can go home and have fish and chips and flop in front of the telly for the afternoon. That's what I'm likely to do. Entering the interior of Stowmarket now, as David Livingstone would have said, through the jungle. The river, oh, I missed it, I meant to show you. I think I missed it, yeah. The river just back there near where we cross the PBG drive, you've got the confluence of the Rattlesden River and the River Gipping. And if you go back in history to ancient times, settlements and all that, that's why there's a town here at the confluence of two rivers, because outside of the river, both sides, very boggy land, very difficult to cross in its natural state, and in the middle is good ground for crops and so on back in the day. And so that's why the early settlers settled here. You've got two rivers to supply water, and of course today I would imagine some of this industry takes water from the river. I don't know if that's true, but that's how you come to have a little town here, because if you're looking for a defensive position, having a place surrounded by bogland that's difficult to cross is a protection. And then in the middle, where you can build, it's got a river on both sides. You've got water for drinking, bathing and whatever the heck other things you're doing. Right, I'll give Mrs. E a ring, get her to meet me at the Chippy, and we can have chippy lunch. Hello, I'm now approaching the chip shop. Shall I meet you in the little space near the pickerel? Alright, I'll see you there in 5 or 10 or whatever. Alright, see you shortly. Bye. Taxi's secured. Just got to get the chips and the fish. And I think Mrs. Eel wants some peas, mushy peas. See this bar and restaurant here. Tell them that was an old malt house by the things on the roof. Yeah, so this was still navigable back in the day, bringing the goods into Stowmarket up here. Just gonna cross the road here and reach the end of what was the navigation. I don't think it's not navigable now. Yeah, and all that, the boats and that all died out because the railway station came in 1864 or down. I may have just made that up, but at the end of what was the end of the navigation anyway, the Pickerel Inn, where Mrs. E will meet me. I'm going to pop round the corner and get the chips. There is the Pickerel Inn, very ancient pub. The chip is just round the corner.